What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm gonna do a complete full rundown on the rear wheel drive project. What has been done, what's going on at the moment, and what's left to do. So I have been making a lot of progress on the car, but everything basically that you touch is like custom in some way, so it's taking a lot of time, and I'm going to explain this in this video if you are interested, because I have got a lot of questions about the car and how it's going. I've been posting a little bit of the progress on Instagram regularly, but now I think it's time for an update video so I can show you guys what's going on. So let's start off. So to start off, and just explaining why I want to do this video as well, is because when I release one of these videos, usually one of you guys have some great comments and some ideas on how to do things, and there is still time to switch things up. So here we have the clutch setup, and this is the flywheel. It's a 9000 flywheel, and it has been lightened. So this has been lightened 2.4 kilos, so it's much lighter than it was before. So I will get some better response. And we are going to run this clutch together with Tenazzi clutch package or clutch plate and pressure plate, and this should be good for at least 800 Newton meters of torque from what I've heard. So this is going to be clamped down, and what's left to do is to drill out and make these pins that will center the pressure plate. And to make it work in the gearbox at the best possible way, I've also got a Tenazzi throwout and release bearing. Since the engine and the gearbox and everything is custom, I've ordered this, so this is a fully adjustable bearing or slave cylinder. So you can just attach this, and then you can adjust it like a coilover, so you get the perfect distance from the gearbox to the clutch. So this will sit really good. Press that down. We got some steel braided lines, so this is so you can bleed the clutch outside of the gearbox, so you don't have to drop the gearbox. So this will be really nice. It's just such a nice piece, the machining and everything, and then we will have the steel braided lines to go with it. And of course we will need some brakes for the car. So once again I have teamed up with G-Tech, who has supplied the brake discs and the pads for this setup. So in the front, since the car has 5x110 in the bolt pattern, so we need to have a disc that's from the same bolt pattern. So this is a brake disc for a Turbo X that has been machined down in diameter to 340 millimeters instead of 345 to be able to run the Turbo 6 brake caliper, which is a dual piston brake caliper, which has a little bit better clamping force than the Turbo X. And we are going to run that together with a yellow stuff pad. And currently P.A. Johansson is working on the adapters to make the caliper carrier fit, since we have a little bit of custom, and this is a 2000 model, so it has the the different spindle that needs to be fit. So I have got the adapters from Maptunparts, and Pia is going to do some custom work to the carrier. But this will be a really nice upgrade. And in the rear we are going to run the biggest brakes that you could get for a Saab 9.5, and that's the Saab 9.5 Aero 2002 to 2010, which has the 300mm ventilated disc in the rear, and this has been slotted, and it should fit just perfect on top of here. So this will be so nice, and the OEM handbrake will fit in this as well. So this is one of the ideas that I had when I got this, and when we did this work with the custom hub and everything, to make everything work together with the OEM stuff, so we don't have to do extra OEM or extra custom stuff. And for the car, I have been doing a lot of work on the car and the drivetrain on the car. So at first I think the differential was like 3.5 centimeters lower than it is right now, and it's a lot of work to just move it, but I have done the work, so it sits higher. Because I thought, when I'm doing this work, I just want it to sit as high as possible, so I don't get disturbed by the differential sitting too low. And we want to get the proper angle of the drive shafts as well. So at the upright point they will sit pretty vertical, so that's good. And inside of the car is where a lot of the work has been done. So I have tack welded and welded up for the gearbox. I have done a custom mount for the short shifter. I'm going to be running a Coolerworks short shifter, and I have adapted this to the original console. So I will show you how this works. This is pretty cool. So everybody knows about the safety mechanism of the 9.5 that you need to put in reversed and to be able to get the key out. It's stuck. So I've kept that feature. Now it's in neutral, and this is 6th gear, and I'm able to release the gear. So if you try to steal the car, you need to start it at 6th gear, which will be pretty much impossible. And the shifter, someone on Facebook commented that it will be, this upgrade of a shifter is like going from a spoon in a bowl of oatmeal to like load a shotgun, and I 100% agree. This is so sharp, like 1st gear, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th gear. The throw is so short. And now when I have got all the parts together again, get the steering wheel in, you really get the feel for everything in the car, and the shifter just sits perfect as it is right now. And all of this will be pretty much covered by the console. That's the OEM console. And then that is one big win of this project as well. That I have got the heater in. It's like a millimeter fit, but it fits, and that's what's most important. So now I know for sure that I will be able to run everything OEM as it was before, except that maybe a little bit of this shifter will be visible, but I'm not too disappointed by that. A little bit of the magic stuff could be shown, but otherwise basically everything will be original and back to OEM as it was before in here. And I also got a lot of space for the gas pedal, which was one thing that I was a little bit worried of as well. And so far everything is just tack welded in, so everything needs to come apart again, get fully welded, get sealed up, get painted, etc. So now I'm just going to throw in all the parts that should fit in the car, and I will tack weld them in or just place them for the moment, because that's one thing I have learned with this project. It's not to do everything like permanent, because when I moved the rear differential I had to make new mounting points for the prop shaft, new mounting points for the gearbox, and redo the mounting points at the engine, which we are going to check out now. But so far from the interior, I'm just so happy. This is sick. And there is also a little knob that enables you to go into reverse when you're in a hurry. So basically, just like the 9.5, there is a catch that you need to lift up, and then you will be able to get reversing. So I'm super happy about this shifter, and it would be so cool to be able to run this car for real. So moving on from the interior, here we have some custom work done as well, because I have flipped the spindle and I've got some work done by my boy Gerard, much thanks to you. So I will be able to run the steering rack in front of the arm instead of behind as it was before, because there we have a huge gearbox right now. So as I said, as soon as you move one thing a little bit, you need to move all the other stuff. So the engine mounts are just temporarily in, but I have moved them 3 times. First time I set them where I wanted. Then I found out that the generator should sit there, so the engine mounts will interfere with the generator. But and this mount right here, the lower mount for the generator, sat together with the drive shaft, and I throw that drive shaft away because I wasn't going to need that anymore, but psych, I just had to back up. Got one from Yard, and now this is modified to fit. And when doing the other engine mounts and other, what you call them, changes, I have tried to get that into consideration, what should sit here. So what sits on this side is the AC condenser, sits pretty close right here, but we are not going to run that, so that is not a worry. The next worry was to fit the steering rack, and that's basically where I'm at right now. So the steering rack needs to sit in line with the control arm, and then it interfered with the oil filter coming out here. So I got one of these adapter plates or filter relocation plates, and right now there are AN10 fittings on here, but you could easily fit like banjo bolts, so this will get even slimmer. Just that AN10 banjo bolts are crazy expensive, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But that is the next step, and I've tried to slim this down as well, because the original pipings go up quite a bit right here, and that's where the oil pan should sit. So I will fit this with some steel braided lines and banjo fittings, so it will get really slim to the steering rack. and I have grinded down these so it will fit slim up to a bracket that I will sit underneath the car. But the hard part, or not the hard part, but part to figure out is the end links on the steering rack that fit inside here. They need to sit lower down, so I need to make like a distance, a long distance to hold that in place. And I think I will need another end link as well, because it needs to be longer. So if any of you know like company that sells like bolt-on distances that will get out quite a bit, or if there are another car that has the fitting from underneath and up, I would highly appreciate it. So that's basically it for now, and here we have the coilovers that needs to be modified for the car, but that you have seen in another video. So that is just a brief update of the car, and next up, after fitting the steering rack, of course we need to get something to bolt on to the steering rack. You can see that the steering comes out like that, and that could be moved to an angle. So I think I will move it out quite a bit so it will have like more of a straight shot to the steering rack. But we will need to get an extension to fit. I hope you can see, it's pretty dark in here, but here you can see that from the steering wheel it sits at an angle, so that angle could be pretty easily moved a couple of centimeters to the left, so we will get a more straight shot. And I don't think anything is in the way on the firewall either, so there is nothing sitting there basically, so we are free to move it to the side. And then we will also be able to get the downpipe down beside it, because that will be an issue as well. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges with this type of build, to be able to fit everything, because as soon as you do something it will collide with something else, and you just have to solve it as you go. And sometimes you can't solve it as long as you go, but the only way will be to like go back and redo it. So after the steering rack has been done, I'm going to start with the custom oil pan. Here I have two types of oil pans. One is for the 9000, one is for the 95. But we are going to be tracing off this flange and make it out of, I think this is 5mm, the flange. And then the oil pan will be made in 2mm steel. So I think that would be pretty good. So there you have it guys, a short update on the rear wheel drive build. It's coming along, but it's taking some time due to rework of stuff that was already done but had to be moved again. So I will highly appreciate if you have any ideas, any comments on what to do with the problem areas that I'm facing right now. Otherwise, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!